the impossible pretense of Protestant universality. There are serious arguments against Protestantism having a coherent claim to pronounce universally on heresy or define Christian orthodoxy due to its schismatic nature, lack of unified authority, and tendency to embrace contradictory doctrines and tolerate even heretical groups. Protestantism loses continuity with historical apostolic Christianity. It cannot speak for or bind all Christians when it contains so many internal divisions and variations. Without a recognized teaching office or magisterium, Protestantism has fractured into many denominations with incompatible beliefs, all claiming the Bible and Christian faith as their source. But heresy implies deviation from some accepted standard of orthodoxy, and Protestantism lacks that. It accepts any view as potentially Christian if someone can support it with a Bible verse. It cannot render judgments that carry authority beyond its various branches. Protestantism lacks a coherent claim to define Christian orthodoxy or heresy with universal authority. Despite its many denominations and contradictory doctrines, Protestantism asserts itself as a historically and apostolically valid form of Christianity. However, upon examination, this claim proves logically and rationally problematic. Without a unified teaching authority or consistent set of beliefs, Protestantism cannot speak for all Christians or bind anyone to a particular judgment on faith and morals. Its break from the historical Catholic Church also severs its connection to apostolic authority and tradition. Within Protestantism, groups that deny even the central tenets of orthodoxy still consider themselves Christian due to the lack of any universally recognized authority. If each denomination determines right doctrine for itself, heresy loses any real meaning. Thus, Protestant judgments about heresy and orthodoxy can never rise above the views of some Christians among many, rather than the universal church that Christ established. Protestantism's contradictory and schismatic nature undermines any coherent claim to pronounce authoritatively on heresy or represent the apostolic Christian faith. Assertions to historical validity and doctrinal unity ultimately prove unconvincing when rationally scrutinized in light of the fractured and heretical tolerating reality of Protestant denominationalism. While Protestant individuals and groups judge certain views as heretical, without a genuine universal authority, their judgments cannot bind all Christians or meaningfully speak for the Church as a whole. It is logically problematic for Protestants to claim their doctrines or judgments are universally Christian or historically apostolic for several reasons. 1. Protestantism encompasses many denominations with contradictory beliefs. They disagree on doctrines like the Eucharist, baptism, authority of Scripture, role of works, etc., yet they all claim to represent true Christianity. This is incoherent. 2. Key Protestant doctrines like sola scriptura and the priesthood of all believers undermine any single authority or unified set of beliefs within Protestantism. Each person or group can interpret Scripture as they see fit, so unity is impossible. 3. Protestantism rejects the authority of the early church and ecumenical councils in defining orthodoxy. Yet without them, the canon of Scripture and core Christian doctrines like the Trinity would not exist. Protestantism claims historical validity while severing itself from the historical church. 4. The Protestant Reformation was a schism from the Catholic Church, which can trace its bishops in unbroken succession to the apostles. In breaking from the Church, Protestantism broke from that apostolic succession and authority. Its claim to apostolic Christianity is dubious. 5. Within Protestantism, there are groups like Unitarians that reject doctrines always held as orthodox like the Trinity and divinity of Christ. Yet they consider themselves Christian despite clearly heretical beliefs, due to Protestantism's lack of authority and relativism. 6. Without a unified authority, Protestants cannot declare any view heretical in a way binding on all Protestants. Heresy has no definite meaning if each group defines orthodoxy for itself, so claims to universality ring hollow. Protestantism's contradictory nature, break from historical Christianity, and lack of authority undermine any claim to define universal Christian orthodoxy or speak with a genuinely apostolic voice. Its internal divisions and tolerance of heresy like Unitarianism reflect the impossibility of universality without a unified and historically grounded authority, which Protestantism by nature lacks. Thus, Protestant claims to universality or historical validity in defining heresy are logically problematic and unconvincing. Of course, Protestants would defend their movement, but reasonable and serious arguments can be made against their claims to authority or doctrinal unity. As shown,